we need a radical shift. To tell you, really launch it here. We used to say, you feed a man today, you have to feed him tomorrow. I mean, if you give a man fish today, you have to give him fish tomorrow. But if you teach him how to fish, he's going to take care of himself. But unfortunately, that is no longer true because there's no more food, there's no more fish in the lakes. So we must teach people how to grow fish before teaching them how to fish. This is very important to launch it. Why? Because the crisis is very deep. The climate crisis today, coupled with the negative environmental effects of the conventional food and agricultural system, has become an existential threat to us and our survival. And our survival now depends on how much we align our practices, we call it climate smart, our practices and ways of life to a resilient logic. A resilient logic is that climate smart. What does it mean? It means sustainable development is the only answer. But we must know that these sustainable economies or societies will only be possible when we raise a critical mass of young people that will not only embrace the systemic worldview, but will be capable of appropriating the principles of this worldview and its values to build new tools, and production system that are aligned with the new worldview. Therefore, education, skill, and talent development are critical keys to accelerating the transition to this sustainable society that will guarantee a broad-based and inclusive and greener growth tomorrow. This is the must. We must therefore start training our young people for the job of tomorrow. We've been training them for the job of yesterday, a job of tomorrow that is aligned with the new and emergent systemic socio-economic reality. This will consist in reorienting and equipping the youth with new capacities to enable them to efficiently and sustainably harness Africa's incredible environmental capital and become fully engaged in the emerging economy. This is very, very important. If this is true, we must now again repeat, stop training our youth for the job of yesterday and start building the economy of tomorrow as we raise the human resource base to match and run it. This is a strategic challenge for us. We must start by rapidly setting up a comprehensive program for the empowerment of African youth by developing a transformative network of youth-centered agribusiness hubs across all of Africa and beyond. We must. We're already doing it at Songhai. This agribusiness model must be set up to address the structural and root causes of the economic marginalization of youths. The fundamental idea here, brothers and sisters, in this initiative is our conviction that it's only a radically retooled human resource base with a new worldview and a new technical organizational capacities that will enable scale and increase wealth and job creation commensurate with the type and number of jobs we're expecting in this initiative. The agribusiness hub will be a multifunctional and this agro must be multifunctional and integrated with a built-in ever-increasing intensification and sustainability. This will offer exceptional opportunities as a launch pad for a regenerative ecosystem that can provide a structured integration of youth into the African economy mainstream tomorrow. Instead of just giving lip service, this is what you have to do, retool them. Then, this innovative institution will require an innovative institution to build a strong transition to climate smart agriculture or a sustainable agricultural system. It has to be radically different. Let's stop caressing poverty. We're just playing with it. Let's propose an integrated, functional human development scheme that will be quite a unique one, not as before. It must be fundamentally different from the usual training model we hear everywhere. It must be an innovative institution designed to produce a cream of young people equipped differently to run the emerging, I use the word emerging great economy. We must know what we want. And then what do we want? What do we need? And with whom? Is a green economy, we must build a resource base that can manage it and run it. We are proposing 5-component innovative institution that a 5-component institution that is of the innovative institution that is functional and climate change agribusiness. The first one, a mindset reorientation component where ecological literacy is fundamental, This is very, it must be foundational to change the way we think. We can't, it's a new wine in a new wine skin. We can't be carrying the old worldview and then be playing around it. There's a difference between principles and practices. We must align the practices with the new principles of ecological competence. Therefore, a mindset reorientation component where ecological literacy is foundational. Here, the youth's previous mindsets and worldviews are challenged, and new and emerging systemic worldview, concepts, and principles are articulated and appropriated to enable them to develop systemic and holistic ways of seeking solutions to production challenges. Number 2, this new hub or incubation hub must be a technology park too, where new technologies and organizational patterns and forms aligned with a new worldview are developed and contextualized. This must be true. The third component, this new training system must have an industrial park component or a production center. It must be a production site where the ideas and techniques and organizational tools are contextualized and harnessed to produce sustainable agricultural goods and services in an integrated and systemic manner. This, my brothers and sisters, is what you should do. Then the last component here is, the fourth component. This, after the first 3, that is a new vision, technology, and then where we practice them. This must be there before we start thinking about training. We can't train people out of reality. That's what we're in training. It is not connected. We must train them differently. Then the fourth component, we call incubation or resource development center. As I said, the first 3 components constitute effective learning and incubation space where new competencies are developed and set up productive, effective, and efficient production activities or enterprises. These young people, by participating in the design, development, and production activities, these trainees, facilitated by the mentors who are themselves practitioners, develop technical, organizational, and managerial competencies to enable them to become functional individuals and entrepreneurs. This is the only way we can create it, not this blah, blah, blah we've been doing. Then the last component is here. In this thing, there must be a service center within this hub. The game is not over after the initial formation period. No, far from it. We think it's only about 20%. The rest of it must be there. We must set up services like marketing, input procurement, networking, financial loans, advisory services to provide and to enable these young entrepreneurs to stand on their own. This service center must be there to empower them, to guide them. This service center must provide support and services to the trainees. This service is very pivotal to the success in their work and job creation. Without it, they can never make it. Thus, graduates from our training programs will be provided with services such as marketing, input procurement, hospitality services, and networking. Brothers and sisters, this very shortly, because of the time, this is what we do. We must develop a radically new, different ways of incubating and setting up a critical mass of young people who are radically retooled to align themselves with the emerging economy. Thank you very much.